All right, so now we do predictions using the equation of that regression line. So we've been learning about this equation and that regression line in the previous chapter here. Okay, all of this stuff. So you've got your equation, you draw it, and we also learned how to draw it, okay, by picking out a point somewhere down here, okay, and then substituting it into our formula or into our equation, sorry. Okay, substituting that. And that helps us to actually make our line. Now, from this point on, what you're going to be doing is also using that formula to make a prediction and make some sort of conclusion from that. So the idea behind the prediction is you're trying to tell me if this prediction is accurate or it's not accurate. Okay, you would have learned this back in year 10. Predictions that are within the range are what you call interpolation. Predictions outside the range are what you call extrapolation. Okay, and there's a difference between the two. Okay, whenever you make any, actually it doesn't say here. Whenever you make some sort of prediction, you got to be able to explain whether it is accurate or not. Okay, I'm just going to have a look here. Okay, cool. Okay, and it is talked about there. So let's make predictions for now first, before we get into the interpolation, extrapolation. And we know how to do this. You're basically just substituting these numbers or these variables into the numbers that you're trying to predict. So let's read the question. The least squares regression line, cool, we've got an equation for the AFL club, and the amount of money in millions it spends on advertising is shown here. So the number of members is equal to all of this, and you can find that by figuring out how much money they spent on advertising. So what this is telling me is this EV, the more money they spend on advertising, okay, the more members they'll probably have, okay, in this equation. So for the first question here, predict the number of members when the amount of money spent advertising is 0.5 million. Write your answer to the nearest whole number. All right, so let's do that one. A, my equation is numbers of members is equal to 42956 plus 14.795 multiplied by money spent on advertising. I'm just going to go ads so it fits. Right, so what we're trying to do here is make that prediction. So if advertising is going to be 0.5 mil, what's the number of members going to be? Okay, so basically all you have to do is change your formula. So you're changing this to now 0.5 and then calculating that. I'm just going to use shorthand for this because it's too long. It's equal to 42956 plus 14.795 multiplied by 0.5, which is what we're using there now. Okay, and just put that in your calculator. So you essentially just this in your calculator. Okay, so we've got 4256 plus 14.795 times 0.5. Just double check you've done it properly. I think I've missed a number here. 42956. Okay. So the answer is that's how many members there are. So 42963.4. 429. What do we have? 63.4. So we'll go number of members. Okay, make sure you round it to the nearest whole number, however. Okay, so that'll be 42,963.
Okay.
Yes.
Multiplying something by 0.5 is basically dividing by 2.
Yes. Well, technically,
Like,
Bod
say-
mass
Okay, let's say 10 divided by 0.5.
is going to be
75.
5. Yes.
So how is that? How is the answer? not
Bod
five?
mass. Bod mass. Okay. Do this first, and then you add the answer to that. Okay. So you don't do this first and then multiply by 5. Let your calculator do the work. Okay. I think you made a similar mistake as before as well about it. Well, that's cool. So bod mass, fine. Bod mass. All right. Same thing now, yeah? So we're going to work the other way around. For B, instead of predicting number of members, we're going to predict the amount of money spent on ads. So let's write the formula again. Let's just shorthand it because it is a lot. We'll go members is equal to, write the formula again in full. So 42956.14.795 multiplied by, let's just go ads. Okay, sorry, we'll go money on ads. All right, so now instead of changing money on ads, we're going to change it to members. Okay, change members to figure out how much money they actually spent on ads. Now, I'm going to be teaching you something a little bit new on the calculator because some of you probably never knew you could do this. Okay, we're going to be figuring out how to solve an equation by using the calculator. Now, last year you would have learned how to solve equations by hand, but you can do it on the calc. Okay, so for the members, I can see here that it's going to be 2 million. Okay, so 2 million. We're going to write that as, you're not just going to write the number 2. Okay, you're going to write actual number 2 million. Okay, actually no. We're doing the same thing. My bad. I thought we were predicting for this. My bad. We're still predicting money members. I'm so sorry. I didn't read that properly. But the thing that I mentioned to you before, I will show you later on. All right, so 42956 should be plus 14.795 multiplied by 2 million. Okay, so we're going to use just the number 2 because we used 0.5 before. So now it's just 2. All right, so that means the number of members they have should be, my calculator. In case you didn't know, you don't have to rewrite your formula. So you can go up there, highlight it, and if you press enter, it repeats it for you. So you just got to change this to 2 now. That means they have 42985.6. And then round up to the nearest whole number, which is 42986. Okay. All right. So in terms of the prediction side of things, okay, the idea behind this is it's these predictions are pretty straightforward to do. Do we understand how to do it now? Oh, well, actually, do we understand this part at least? Just making predictions. Okay. I don't know if I'll go through this other example because it's just there's too many examples. I just want to get straight into this now and why we make these predictions. Okay. So let's go to this part and then we'll start working. All right, so why do we make predictions? It's to understand whether the prediction is interpolation or extrapolation. So is it within the range or is it outside the range? So whenever you're making a prediction within the range, okay, so within the values, it's interpolation, okay? Remember that. If it's in the range, it's going to be interpolation. If it's outside the range, okay, it's going to be extrapolation. Within the range, in the interpolation, outside the range, extrapolation. A couple of things to remember about interpolation and extrapolation. Can you see with the yellow? Okay, so for interpolation, it's a reliable prediction. Okay, so when you're predicting within the range, it's reliable. If you're making an extrapolation prediction, it's not reliable or unreliable. Okay, so remember those two things. Interpolation, reliable. Extrapolation, unreliable. Okay. And also it states it here. All right, let's keep going. So let's look at this. Okay, we're going to try and make some predictions and tell me if it's interpolating or if it's extrapolating. Okay, we'll just do that one example as well. We won't go to the other one. All right, so according to this, in an appliance store, the number of air conditioners sold each week can be predicted from the daily average maximum temp in that week. So the temperature is going to be, remember that's the EV, and then the conditioners sold, aircon sold, will be the RV. Okay, just keep that in mind. The least squares regression line has this equation. So this is our equation right here. We're going to use now this equation to make a prediction based on these temperatures. And then we're going to comment on the reliability of it. Okay. So first things first, always rewrite the formula so you know what you're going to be doing. I could make it shorthand. So I'll just go aircon is equal to negative 38 plus 1.9 times temp. Okay, let's just write it shorthand so it's a bit easier to work with. All right, so based on the first one, for A, this is for A, sorry. Okay, we're going to make a prediction on the temperature if it was 24 degrees Celsius. Okay, so having a look at that, change temperature to 24 for that one. So it's going to be aircon equals negative 38 plus 1.9 times 24. Putting that in my calculator. Okay, so negative 38 plus 1.9 times 24. That equals 7.6. So the aircon sales is 7.6. Okay, now have a think. If your temperature is 24, will you be selling 7.6 aircons? What you can do is if you look at the graph, okay, the prediction of 24, have a look at the temperatures, okay? Does 24 lie within the range of the temperatures? So you can have a look. The lowest temperature here, according to the dots, is going to be about 21, and the highest is 38. Does 24 lie within there? It does. So that means that this prediction, okay, the prediction of 7.6 aircons is going to be accurate. So you would say the prediction where 7.6 aircons are sold if max temp is 24 degrees is accurate, or is reliable, I would say actually, is reliable. Because it is interpolating. You can even add as well, and within the range. So that's a rough guideline of how you can actually interpret the answer and comment on the reliability. So you want to say, if it's within the range, it's reliable, it's interpolating, okay, and it's within the range. And you also want to mention, in year 12, this is a new thing, they do get you to talk about the numbers that you've worked with. So you know that the prediction you made was 24 degrees, and the number of aircons sold was 76. So you have to mention those. They like it if you mention detail. Okay, they really, really like it. Okay, let's do it for B. Okay, so again, write your formula. Aircon equals negative 38 plus 1.9 times the temp. Okay, and aircon, we're trying to figure out the number of aircons. So According to this, we're going to make a prediction if we have 15 degrees as our temperature. So negative 38 plus 1.9 times 15. Okay, put that in a calculator. Okay, again, you can just go up, highlight the formula again, go up there, press enter, and it'll repeat it for you. So instead of 24, we're going to change it now to 15. And according to this, the aircon sales is negative 9.5. Negative 9.5. Now, why doesn't that make sense?
It's going to be lost.
It's lower. You can't sell a negative number of aircons, okay? So obviously, now we write the prediction horrible handwriting, where negative 9.5 aircons are sold if max temp is 15 degrees Celsius is unreliable. Because it is extrapolating and outside the range. You can also make a comment and say you can't sell a negative amount of aircons. It doesn't make sense. That also works too. But what, again, the assessors want to see that you're able to do is at least write down your prediction, write down the variable that you used, and tell us as well if it's reliable or unreliable, and then tell me if it's extrapolating at outside or inside the range. Okay, those are things that you should mention in there. All right. I might stop there for the examples now, and I think you're all half dead, so boom.